That's great. My intro didn't play. That's
It's,
freaking awesome. Right.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Loyalist. As you can see, he smashed it right down here. He said, smash that like button. Toxic smashed it twice and then smashed it the third time to make sure it was there. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't forget you can share this stream to your favorite social media so that, it helps us out, Appreciate it a lot. Guys, before we get into the Q&A part of this stream, Loyalists found out literally like 2 minutes prior that the Goose, former Colt defensive lineman, Tony Siragusa, has passed away at the age of 55 years old. Chuck, what do you, any words you want to talk about with this?
Yeah, I just, like I said, I saw it and I was just like, man, it's just, we're losing a lot of good ones lately. And the thing is, for me, he was one of the first defensive line, because I always played on the offensive side of things. So he was one of the first defensive linemen that stood out and stuck in my old man memory banks over here. And I understand he was only with us for a short time, but just the way he presented himself on the field was just everything that you would want from your nose tackle. He was sort of that, nasty, not in it for the glamour type of guy. And yeah, so I was a little shocked by it. I knew he'd been struggling, but I was, like I said, I just sort of figured he was too ornery to give up.
Yeah, and a lot of NFL fans know Goose as being that commentator during games throughout, the NFL over the last few years. I believe he even had he was on like an arm or something, that was like would reach out and, I'm like, holy crap, dude. Goose, that's scary. I don't know if I could have done that, but he did whatever he could to not only on the field, but when it came to bringing content out for the viewers out there. So you will be missed. Condolences to friends and family of Tony, and you will be remembered. I promise you that, especially here at Colts Nation. I want a quick shout out to those that are in here. William Steele, Toxic Tommy, John Davis. What's up, guys? Deep Patel is in here as well. Truitt, obviously, has been here since the beginning. He's just been shouting out. Who is this dude? What? Holla? What? John says he can't wait for some Colts football. I'm ready, Truitt. Definitely, and I am not screaming at all for anybody, okay? It is 10,000 degrees. It's cooling down a little bit where I'm at, but it's still too hot to be yelling. I don't want to be dripping sweat over the next, hour that we're sitting here talking. Guys, I will also be at 9 o'clock p.m., the TSS Fantasy Show. I will be joined with Steve Reed, Kevin Hickey, and Rondo to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. So that will be fun as well. Keep an eye out on that. So how have you been doing, Loyalist?
Oh, not too bad. Just fighting off the heat like everybody else, I imagine. And like I said, just fighting the fight, not a whole lot of news coming out, not a whole lot of football, So right now, like I said, just all the grind of the days and stuff. It's just sort of wearing on me. I'm ready to talk some football and just forget about it for a little bit.
Absolutely. I can't wait for football season to kick in. I just got done talking earlier with my boy Gerard, over on Believe in Colts. We did our recording with Brian Cox today. I'll post that for regular viewers right after I get done here. Now, obviously, the Patreon version is already up. You can go and check that out, unedited. It is awesome. I thought we had a blast, but he's like, I'm definitely coming to a couple games. He said, might try to make some training camp. So It's a good possibility that he and I could be at training camp, and we might see you out there. If you see us out there on the field covering the games or talking to people, give us a shout out. We'll shout you out. We'll shout you right back out as well. Speaking of Patreon, we have a new Patreon member. Sorrel the Soul doubled the normal amount of Patreon. It only costs $5 to be part of the Patreon. He drops 10 because he's the man. So appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. You can join Patreon by using the link in the description. So here, real quick, Deep Patel, I'm ready for MPJ to have a triple crown next year. Are you? You want to get into that?
That would be absolutely awesome. I mean, wow. I want to see it another year. I just want to see another productive. Let's take it to the next level thing. But yeah, that'd be all right.
No kidding, right? That's something that would be pretty darn cool, obviously, but I'm not looking for all of that all the time. I'm not looking for our guys to have a massive, huge day or year this upcoming season. I just want everyone to have a good year. I want to be a very balanced team.
Yeah, that's going to be our greatest asset. Is that balance and spreading it out like we did, a couple of years ago with Rivers at the helm. Spread that thing out. Make these guys have to defend every man on that field, and then just find your weak spots. Find whatever opening proves itself.
Absolutely. And before we get further in answering any more questions that are in the chat, that's our Discord. It's in the live chat right now. If you're not part of our Discord, why not? Dude, we got a great group of people. We sit down, we watch all sorts of sports. We talk football, just general conversations and stuff. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you like about the Colts Law Discord?
All righty. Well, me personally, I love the people. We've got all age groups, different fandoms, whether it's the Pittsburgh or the Bills, or I think we've got a couple of Ravens in there. Like I said, even the Patriots fans, guys, are good fans. Good conversations there. Like you said, it's a large eclectic group of men. We need to get more women in there. Ladies, where you at? I know you guys enjoy football as much as we do, but yeah, you get in there and you'll see Brandon Wood, who's in these, Joe Thornburg in there quite a bit. I haven't been able to make it as much this week myself, but normally, you and I make our, make our allotted 8 to 12 hours a week in there and stuff, watching games. And it's good time, guys. You ought to check it out.
Oh man, whenever I'm not doing anything, I'm just hanging out, just playing a video game or not doing it. I'll jump in the live, and just sit there and talk with people, whether it's like you said, Joe, Brandon, Mike, Matt, whoever's in there. We just sit and we chat.
Yeah, the Discord's so strong it's revitalized Lawrence's NBA fix again. He hadn't been watching it much, and now he picked up the series and he's addicted again.
I don't know about addicted, but I did watch the finals. All right, so that's more than I've done in 15 years. So it is what it is. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the live chat. We will get to those as we scroll down. If you want to make sure that your question or comment gets brought up, feel free to use the link in the description of the donations. We'd appreciate that very much. It will come up on the screen as well. Second question, technically, by Truitt says, "Are we going to carry 3 quarterbacks this season?" My opinion of it is, I would if I was the head coach. No, I wouldn't. Matt Ryan is not known for getting hurt, and the backup is a guy that's good as a backup, right? The only way I think that we have 3 people on the 53-man roster, if I was the coach, would be, if something, knock on wood, bad happens in training camp preseason. That'd be the only reason why I would think that would happen. Now, with the Colts themselves, personally, they obviously think pretty highly of Ellinger, right? Because, they kept him over Jacob Eason last year, and Jacob was a 4th-round pick and actually performed much, much better than what Ellinger did in preseason. And they thought they could get him on the practice squad, and they let him go. And obviously Seattle's like, nope, mine. And so I don't know, that he may make the 53 because the coaching staff may like him enough to where they don't want to take that chance. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll be honest with you. If I would, like you, if I was making that decision, I'd go with just the two. I mean, you got Foles, you've got Ryan now for 2 years, both, very proven depth at those two positions and stuff. And honestly, even I think the Colts, and I know this doesn't go with what you're saying, but I do think the Colts are going to be like, you know what, we need an extra defensive lineman, or we need an extra, secondary piece. And I think that they will still run with just two. I know what you're saying about the Easton situation, but I mean, let's be honest. Ellinger hasn't put in anything, even last preseason, didn't get hardly any good film out. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the desire to pick him off and stuff, and honestly, I, like you said, and I know this is how you feel personally, but if I have an opportunity to keep a stud special teamer, or maybe somebody in there, that it can give you added depth at the D line or the safety position, I think I'd rather that than putting a third quarterback on.
Yeah, absolutely. Deep Patel jumps in and says, do you see more Wildcat options this year with Hines being more involved? Saw a few last year, and it's not just Hines being more involved, right? It's the personnel we have. We have an offensive lineman that used to be a tight end. We have a tight end that used to be a quarterback. We have a head coach that used to be a quarterback. We have guys that have played multiple positions all through the team, not just Wildcat formations. I just see random weird stuff happening that they're going to actually practice for, and then pull these things out of their hat in certain situations where, to catch defenses off guard throughout the season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's maybe not early in the season, I think that'll be something that we might see midway through on, because, there again, the coach said that, they were trying to keep things simple and let's learn what Matt likes and stuff. And they sort of whittled down the playbook. But the thing is, Frank Reich is an outstanding play caller. And to sit there and we talked about keeping the ball spread out, keep things open and stuff. So, yeah, I like the idea of maybe later on seeing a little bit of that. Just keep them guessing. Is he running the ball? Is he catching the ball? Is he throwing the ball? So like I said, that's something I hope to see maybe about midway through or a little later.
Mike Muma brings up, says, hey, yo, OBJ to the Colts. You know what? I'm bring this back up here real quick. I wouldn't be opposed to it. The only issue is, OBJ is not expected to be ready until like November, right? So it's not something. I don't see any team signing him right away. They're not going to sign him until they know for sure when his return date is going to be. And they don't know that yet because he's still in the recovery process. I mean, he just did this in the Super Bowl in February, right? I mean, he's still got some time. We got to figure things out. Could he be an addition to the Colts? Absolutely. But I don't see it until probably at least September when the season's already started.
Yeah, and he's going to be one of those guys that, like you said, he's going to hopefully take a playoff team and maybe be that piece to help lift them over the top and stuff. And yeah, if we're sitting there and even honestly, even if everybody stays healthy and stuff, OBJ is available, like you said, week 8, 7, whenever you start getting more information about his rehab and stuff, and as long as everything's on pace. Yeah, give this young man, give him the playbook, let him get in there and start, digesting that. And then that'll be a weird fit with Matt Ryan because of them never experiencing one another. But they're both veteran players. So, I would imagine they would be able to find that connection and pick up. And boy, wouldn't that be awesome? Sit there and have Paris Campbell and, OBJ along with MPJ and whoever wide receiver number 4 or Naheem Hines. Man, this would be some speed on the field, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Joe, what's up, man? Appreciate you being in here. Brandon, I'm not going to say what you said about Joe because that'll get me banned off of YouTube. So let's keep the 4-letter words a little on the 3-letter words, right? Or 5-letter words, but not 4-letter words. But anyhow, he says, would you be happy for MPJ to have, 60 plus, 800 plus, and 9 tugs? It depends upon the rest of the team, right? If you have 4 guys that have 60 plus, 800 plus, and 9 tugs, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Now, if you're looking at the next closest guy getting 300 yards like last year, MPJ better have more than 800 yards and 60 receptions. That man better have like 18. You better put a 1 in front of that 8. That's all I'm saying. Because that's for the expectations that we have this year with Matt Ryan at quarterback. There better be something that would, express why he has 800 plus yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you put a 1 in front of that, I don't care if you're talking about touchdowns or yardage. Either way, the young man just earned himself a nice payday coming around real soon. You're muted, bud.
John says, I'd be happy with 1,000 yards for the top 4 receivers and 1,500 yards for Jonathan Taylor. What in the world is wrong with you, John? Come on, my guy. That would like break every record in the NFL history, right? So when Peyton Manning back in, what was that, 04, I think it was, right? With Edgerrin James, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Brandon Stokely, you had 3 1,000-yard receivers and edge running for 1,500 yards. You're going to have 4 guys? What? All right, that's something. Wow. Dude, if it happens, more power to him. But, wow.
Yeah, I forget who I was watching on NFL, but they were talking about sleeper picks for having one of the most explosive offenses, and I'll tell you right now, because it was like 18-1 odds or something. And if those number hit, you better be jumping on that bet right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what.
Toxic says, I thought Ellinger was good at Texas. Well, there was a Florida quarterback that was pretty good in college too, and look where his career ended up, and he was a first round pick. So college does not equate to the NFL. Not always. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. Whenever you have physical limitations like lack of arm strength, it's not like Phillip Rivers where he's 17 years in the league and now things are starting to wane. No, this is where his starting point is. So yeah, I would say that there's a lot of character things that I really like about the young man and stuff. But to sit there and say if we needed him to come in and pull out a game for us, yeah. But to sit there and say that I want this kid, that I'm going to give up that roster spot for this kid for a maybe what if type situation, not there for me.
Brandon, there we go. Something that I could actually post up here. Says I'm calling 5 Wildcat touchdowns this year. I called 3 last year. People thought I was crazy. 5 Wildcat. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. It's not all Wildcat either, right? I mean, you could have all kind of weird plays, like I said earlier, where the guy under center is Matt Ryan, but he's not the guy throwing it, right? And he could flip the ball back on a reverse to the tight end, Jelani Woods, because he a big, quick dude, right, with athleticism. And then if there's nothing in front of him, then he could throw it on down the field to Bernard Ryman, who was the 6th man out there on the power side. And next thing you know, you're like, well, that's a Wildcat touchdown. No, it's not a Wildcat, but it's still a very unique play that, it would be really fun to watch.
All I ask is, I don't care who he's throwing it to as long as it's not Matt Ryan. If Matt Ryan is not throwing that ball or handing that ball off, just walk over to the sideline, sir. Live to fight another day.
Good question here by Gary Thompson. What's up, my guy? It says the Colts in the past have kept 4 tight ends. Odds that they keep 4 this year. I would not be surprised, in all honesty. Obviously, they're going to keep Mo Alley Cox on the roster. He just signed a nice little deal. Jelani Woods is definitely going to be there. Kylan Granson's going to be there. So that's 3 right there. The question is, what's Ogletree going to look like, right? Is he going to make it? It's a possibility depending upon what he looks like in training camp.
Yeah, and the thing is he's going to look big. That's what he's going to look like, you know what I mean? But the thing is like you said, if he goes out there and we knew when he was drafted that this young man was raw, and he was like, hey, I'm your ball of clay, just mold me into what you want. And now, does that mean that he shouldn't be stepping on the field this year? Then no, we might just run with the 3, or maybe somebody will come in through the ranks, because we got like 5 or 6 of them on the roster right now. So, but yeah, the thing is I want to see Ogletree during preseason and stuff, just to see what he looks like. Because, I mean, he started off as a wide receiver, you know what I mean? So he's got a little bit of that route running skills and stuff to him. And if he can sit there and hold on to the ball, because, we heard about a little bit of the drops coming from all the tight ends in the OTAs and stuff. So if that stuff can be holstered and put away, and let's get some consistent catching whenever you're open and stuff, and making the plays when they're there to be made, then yeah, I would love to sit there and see him be number 4.
Toxic has a good question about a certain Lego master. Says, any noise about the competition at kicker? Now, the noise is there was an interview with Frank, and asked about who's the kicker, and Frank straight up said, well, we'll have competition, but it's only for say, because Rodrigo is our kicker. He is that guy. He is our guy. He said that there will be competition there, but it's just like any position, right? Every position is just like Matt Ryan is our quarterback, but you have competition there, right? Whatever. That's pretty much how he stated it, right? In the interview that he had.
Yeah, and like you said, Lego Masters got the leg up, pun intended. So he's got the lead and stuff, and and there again, I know we've gotten some of the fan bases questioning, does he have the leg strength and stuff? And I'll argue, guys, last training camp we were seeing leg strength was not an issue. So if that that whatever that leg problem was, injury that he had, as long as it was hip, okay, that's right. And as long as that's fully healed and doesn't become a problem through training camp and stuff, I think he'll be the starter, at least at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely. Guys, smash that like button, please. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. I'm uploading a video right after we get done here as well, so keep an eye out. All right, and don't forget, if you want to get a question in and you want to make sure it gets caught up, use the link in the description. All donations go to helping me for the gas fund to get to training camp this summer. All right, you know how much gas is? Oh my gosh, I live 65 miles away from Grand Park. Okay, that's a one-way trip there and back. That's going to be like $900 to get there and back one time. All right. Gas is stupid high right now. So every little bit helps. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get back into actually, you know what? I think we need to do an ad. If you want to help out another way, I do have a merch shop. Come check out the Colts Law merch shop. New items added every week. All sorts of items, from clothing to cups to cozies to backpacks, hats, just miscellaneous items that you can get around the house, even phone covers. Just check it out. Let me know. Send me a message. Hey, is there something that I'm missing? Go feel free to ask. Have a good one. There's a great question that came in right after Toxic from Jonathan Harris. Says, hey, what do y'all think about the secondary with the loss of Willis now? That's a great question. I'm going to leave that over to you and let you lead off with this.
Okay. This is one of those situations where I think early on we're going to feel the loss of Kari Willis. Now, I understand McLeod can fill in through veteran, but the thing is he's more of that free safety. You know what I mean? He's not the in the box, strong safety type of safety, But I'll tell you what, we've got a young man that we picked up in the draft that I think in the long run, over this year and next year, I think that this young man Nick Cross is going to be a special player. I mean, I've heard people saying that they hope that Kari was going to be the next Bob Sanders, and I never felt like that's where he was, falling into things. I'm not even sure if he would have gotten a second contract, to be honest with you, after this year. But I'll tell you right now, if this young man Nick Cross and everything you hear from his former coaches and just everything you see on the film and stuff, if this young, and he's young, 20 years old, give him this year to get out there and get his sea legs and stuff, I'm telling you guys, he's going to be a special player for the Colts. We're going to be sitting there, everybody's like hoping, maybe we finally found our safety to tandem with Blackman and Willis. I'm telling you right now, I think whenever it's all said and done, that Blackman and Cross is going to be an absolute dynamic secondary. This year, it's going to be more, at least early on, it's going to be more, let's piece this thing together first.
Absolutely. So Speed says, I'm still not over the Easton cut. I'm not either. I think, a lot of us are still kind of upset about that. Toxic says a lot of rag arm quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame. Yes, but none of them are under 6 foot. Okay. That's a big hurt. All right. When you got a shorter quarterback, you need them to have a strong arm. That's you got guys out there like the guy over the Cardinals or the guy who went from Seattle to Denver this year, right? These are shorter guys, but they got cannons for an arm. They make up for not being able to see right over the line. Jacob Eason has not only got not the superpower throwing power, but he's not really tall enough to be able to see over his line. He has to look like he's looking between bars of a cage. It's just not good. If the bars were 3 feet wide, like Quentin Nelson. So I don't like that combination for a quarterback. And I'm not saying that he's not a good player. I think he's an NFL player. I just don't think he's a starting quality quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like him more of the gadget type of player, sort of the a la Taysom Hill. I mean, I don't think I want him trying to run guys over as much as you would with Hill. But like you said, he's twitchy, he's got good foot speed and stuff. But the thing is you sat there and said there's a lot of them in the Hall of Fame. I'll tell you right now, I don't even know that Hall of Fame isn't even on the board for me. Right now, is he even a starting caliber? And I would say that he's not even that. That might be his ceiling, is being a journeyman starting quarterback. Outside of that, that's is that really what you want to sit there and lose a good defensive lineman or lose a good secondary piece over, just somebody that might just happen to fill in a little bit here and there, and the ceiling's not very high.
Young Money comes in, says Colts just put a Band-Aid on at the quarterback position. Now, in a way, yes, in a way, no. All right, we got a top 15 quarterback now that you can trust in, right? That's something. Now, is it a long-term fix? Absolutely not. And in that aspect, you're absolutely right. It is a Band-Aid because it's not a 10-year fix down the road. But there really hasn't been any options. What were they going to do? Go draft Willis? God, I didn't want Willis as quarterback for the Colts. No way. I didn't want anybody that was in this past draft class. So there was nowhere that they could actually go next year. Plus, they didn't have a first round pick anyhow to go get someone, right? Next year, they got plenty of draft picks. Year after that, obviously, they still have all those draft picks. This is a situation where they were like, you know what? We got a great team now. We have a window. Let's go get somebody, a quarterback that can do something. And they did. And during that process, they're going to look for somebody long-term. That's why I like this. Now, like it is a Band-Aid, but it's a Band-Aid with a high chance of success for that few years that he's there.
Yeah. It's not one of those old, you put the Band-Aid on and it falls off in an hour or so. No, this is one of those good Band-Aids that you need, because like you said, this team, you didn't want to squander all the talent. I mean, 7 Pro Bowlers just last year, and then we bring in Gillylock, I mean, so let's remember that, yes, it is a temporary solution, but the thing is when you're trying to still remain a winning team, you want to give your chance. I mean, and I would argue that Matt Ryan has everything that he still needs to lead us to wherever we want to go. Okay. Carson Wentz, from what we are finding out and stuff, maybe he didn't have that take us to the Super Bowl type of, ceiling, or Matt Ryan, he has that still in his toolkit. I mean, to me, everything I've seen through the OTAs and just the way he's fitting in with everybody, this guy leaves all opportunities. And yes, I understand it's a band-aid, or you can sit there and call him. Honestly, I look at him more as a bridge quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback. We just don't know for who is he being the bridge to yet. You know what I mean? Because that will be soon to be seen in the next year or two.
Yeah. Let's face it. All right. A lot of band-aids that you talk about that / bridge quarterbacks, they don't have the high-end ability that Matt Ryan brings, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking bridge quarterbacks, you're talking about guys like Fitzmagic, can bring it at times, but, very up and down. Whereas Matt Ryan has just been a consistent player his entire career. It hasn't showed any slowing down at all. You're going to look at the stats and go, well, look at his stat. Look at the team he had, right, last year. So, yeah, I'm expecting good things this year with that. And what up, Ninkowski? Appreciate you being in here.
One more thing on Matt Ryan, because I understand what they mean when they say a Band-Aid, but let's remember that Matt Ryan's going to provide this team and the wide receivers and and stuff. He's going to supply them with knowledge that they're going to be able to put into their toolkit, that they're going to be able to use and grow and become a better receiver. Even Michael Pittman Jr. or Paris Campbell, he brings things to the table that a lot of quarterbacks don't, through his knowledge and just the way that he seems to be able to communicate to these guys. So, for a Band-Aid, like I said, if he can lead you to wherever you need him to take you, if he can make your team better in the long run, even whenever he's gone, I mean, that's about as good of a situation as you could hope for, I would imagine.
Absolutely. All right. So there's a lot of people in here just talking. Yeah. Wow. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll through here. He says Kyler Murray is the size of a toddler with Aaron Rodgers' arm strength. That's funny. Yeah, we did talk about Tony Ninkowski. We already had that discussion. He also says that Band-Aids are fine. Yeah, because you want to win now or in 5 years. I think you definitely want to win now. That's the idea, right?
Especially when you can win now and in 5 years, because Matt Ryan doesn't keep you from accomplishing that, other than, like we said, the lower draft pick.
Brandon says, what do you mean? Malik Willis is obviously a generational quarterback that everyone missed on. Didn't you listen to Mel Kiper? Did you listen to Mel Kiper back into the 2002 draft when, he was blowing up other quarterbacks? He's like, only one quarterback went in this draft class, and I can't believe it. And he went in like the 15th round, and everybody's stupid, and everybody was right except for Mel Kiper. So I'm just saying.
Oh.
Absolutely, Ninkowski, like the stream. Here we go. Marquis, what's up? Appreciate you. Why don't we start out 4, 5, or 6-0? We have ballers on this team. It very well could happen. I said that I think the Colts start out 4-0. I've already established this early on. Now, obviously, that depends upon health throughout preseason and stuff of that nature, and people connecting with each other, stuff like that. But I think they have the talent. I think that they definitely have the ability to do that.
Yeah, and I like where Marquis' head's at in this thing, because think about that. We've sat there, we talked about the first 7 games and how important it is to get that fast start. So if we start off 4, 5, 6-0, all I can say is that we're going to enjoy a season that we haven't, as Colts fan, got to enjoy in the last 8, 9 years. So I'm there for it. Anybody else?
I mean, come on. We haven't won the division since 2014.
Yeah.
2014. So when the Titans are, Titans fans are out there giving you all this shit, they kind of have a right to. They've held the division for the last 2 years. We've choked it out the last couple years, and it sucks, but it is what it is. We got to go out there, take the Titan by the foot strap or whatever, and yank him out and take the division back. No, if we want to be considered the division leaders and the guys to beat, then we have to be that team.
Yeah. And like I said, this team, for me, winning the division, it almost needs to be like a given. You know what I mean? That's where I feel like this year. This team, division, I'm looking past division. I want to see second, third round of the playoffs. Let's see if we're still making noise. I don't want to be that, this is the team that nobody wants. No, I want this to be the team that everybody hated seeing into playoffs, because then, like I said, we went in there with this. I mean, could you imagine Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson and all these guys amped up with having just a spectacular season, and what type of presence they can bring into these playoffs? Man, I'm ready to see it, because we really haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to win week 1. AP's Aquatics. I'd like to win week 1. I don't care. Week 2 would be a breath of fresh air. Obviously, Toxic says we got to beat Jax. I don't think we need to beat. Deep Patel even brings that up. Hey, we got to get those 2 monkeys week 1 and then win in Jacksonville. I want the week 1 win. You know what? I can lose in Jacksonville. I'd like to win. That'd be really, really nice. I'll take the loss in Jacksonville this year. It's not in week 18. We're done with Jacksonville by week 7. So, heck, I'm okay with that. They don't have a chance at affecting us later on in the season. Now, I want to win it. We should beat them. We are a better team than them. But it is what it is. Who cares? If they beat, come on. Everyone loses to teams, right? The New England Patriots have lost in Miami. So the way the Colts have lost in Jacksonville, right? It's that whole Miami thing, and it sucks. Or Florida thing, not Miami. It's a Florida thing, and it sucks, right? But yeah, if we make the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs, we won't. Losing in Jacksonville won't matter. If they're hoisting a trophy, damn it, at February 14th, then who gives a rat's ass if we lost in Jacksonville at that point?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Yes, I want a week 1 win. Absolutely. But week 2 makes me bring out my inner Nikoski. I'm telling you right now, not only do I want this win, it means a lot, because I don't want to just beat them. I want to put them to where they go back after week 2 and go, oh man, we're further out than I thought, guys. I want to just sit there and put a whooping on these guys and sit there and make them go back to rethinking wearing those clown masks again. Because I am telling you right now, the way that thing ended out, I know it's supposed to be let it go and stuff, and you're supposed to be a forgiving person. I'm not. I want week 1, week 2, get both of them, be done with it, so the media can sit there and have to actually spend a little bit of time trying to come up with a storyline, because that's just too easy for them to sit there and have that. Let's make them have to work for it next year.
Speed Maverick comes in here and says, I've seen predictions as bad as 8 and 9. What? Okay, I've seen that as well. The over-under is 9.5 wins, I think, for this season for the Colts, which is freaking stupid. I said back when they posted it, I said, you go ahead and take the over now, right? And drop whatever it is you have, because they're getting more than 9.5 wins this season. The only way it ends up being 8 and 9 is we have serious injuries, serious injuries. And I'm not saying that can't happen. We're the Colts. Crap happens. But that'd be the only way.
Because I know a lot of people are, when you hear the 8 and 9 predictions, it's all about, well, Matt Ryan had, he's on the downwards. I'm sorry. I think we've even seen enough in the OTAs, but yeah, well, let's wait until training camp. But there is not one thing that we've heard coming out of the Colts, or that we saw, with our own eyes, or that we hear from, the Kevin Bowens and the Zach Kiefers and George Bremmers, that are out there doing the grind and stuff. There's nothing that says that Matt Ryan has not got the gifts and tools needed to take this team. And that's the thing. A lot of those guys that are saying 8 and 9, they're already acting like, like Matt Ryan is 3 years removed from the league already, and I don't think that that's the case at all. He just it was not their year in Atlanta last year. They had lost some receivers, and I mean, honestly, by the time it was all said and done for the majority of the season, all they had was Kyle Pitts, a tight end, / receiver. Outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot that Matt Ryan had to offer. So I think that he's going to be able to carry this team. Honestly, I think we could easily get 10 or 11, even if Matt Ryan is just average to what his numbers were.
Absolutely. Toxic says, I see Gronk retired again. Yeah. Yeah, I posted a tweet on that as well. They were asking about the your favorite Gronk moments. And I said, number one, when Gronk retired. Number two, when he re-retired. Number three, the next time he retires. Because, I mean, he made a post right after that and said, well, if Tom calls me mid-season saying, hey, I need you back, I'm coming back.
Was that Gronk or was that Rosenhaus? Because I'm his agent.
I don't know. I just heard that. And I'm like, well, come on now. But, hey, guys, again, 41 minutes. Please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video. And like I said, I'm uploading another video here real soon with an interview between me, Gerard Powers, and Brian Cox Jr., the new defensive end for the Indianapolis Colts. And while you're here, I want you to do something for me. Just do it. No excuses. Just do it. Go check out the Backroom Collection. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. So I got a question for you guys watching, okay? So Loyalist and I on Monday released our first video of the season breaking down someone other than the Colts, was the Buffalo Bills. I want to know what you guys think of that video. There isn't very many views on it yet. I think it's 70, 80, something like that. I understand it's not Colts, but you know what? We're going to break down the entire NFL, each team individually. I think it's a great way of learning a little bit about other teams. We go through their schedule, just real quick, go through their schedule, look at their roster, their depth chart, and see what kind of teams they are. A lot of these teams that we're going to be going over, the Colts are going to be playing, right? So let us know what you think about that. Young Money says Nick Foles is a backup and he can beat Matt Ryan in the playoffs. What? 2017.
2017. He said he did beat him in the playoffs in 2017.
Oh. Well, you know what? Matt Ryan hasn't had a good team around him very much. I mean, come on. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Really? But you know what? Also, Nick Foles is a backup, but he's darn good as a backup. That's the thing that he's known for, right? He comes in when the starter gets hurt and other teams are not ready for him and what he brings at that point in time. So as long as he's not starting, then that's the thing. If he starts, he's not as good from week 1 to week, 17, 18.
Yeah, and if Matt Ryan's playing until 2017, I'm sorry, but he's not considered a Band-Aid then at that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe brings up we can't lose the last 2 weeks of this year, against the Giants and the Tech. I already said I'll quit watching football if they lose to both teams. If we have a healthy team, a healthy Indianapolis Colts team, and we lose to the Giants and the Texans, that's going to be awful. Because first off, the Texans are worse than the Jacksonville. We blew the Texans out, right, 62-3 between 2 games last year, and the Giants are so bad that they just stand there with their hands on their hips while the game is live, right? So, no, we cannot lose to both those teams. I utterly agree.
Yeah, and the thing is we keep talking, you want to go into the playoffs with momentum. These should be two teams that you should be able to generate a decent bit of momentum from. And that's awesome, because like I said, playoffs cannot be an option this year. Playoffs have to be a guarantee because we won the division. So now the only thing is how do you want to go into the playoffs? If you're getting out there and hanging a 20 spot or more on these last two games, I feel like that would give your first off, you'd be able to rest some guys the second half of games, and secondly, that'll give you that energy and that upbeat momentum that you want going into the playoffs.
All right. So, well, see, that's funny that you bring this up, Young Money, because you do realize, okay, so Matt Ryan in that Super Bowl that he lost, right? He went up 28-3 against the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. Now, this year, if the Indianapolis Colts and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers both make the Super Bowl and Matt Ryan gets the Colts to a 28-3 lead at halftime, bet your marbles Matt will be like, go ahead and put Foles in and just make this the biggest freaking lopsided Super Bowl victory in history.
Yeah, and to this game that you're failing to mention the fact that defense for the Falcons was decimated with injuries. They weren't nearly what they were, in their Super Bowl run. So the thing is, yes, I understand. I mean, was it Beasley? I think it was. He just sort of fell off a cliff that following year, and he had enough. The offense still had enough firepower, like you said, to get him into the playoffs and stuff. I would argue that the year that they lost the Super Bowl with the 28-3, they went in with all that momentum that I was just talking about. They went in with all this hype for the season. That 2017 season, they got into the playoffs, but they were just sort of grasping and holding on. They weren't, heads down, knocking this thing out of the ballpark. They were just trying to hang on and perform to the best of their abilities of what they had.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I got to eat before I prepare to go on the TSS Fantasy Show at 9:00 with a few other guys. So I think we're going to probably end this now. It's been about 50 minutes. I appreciate all of you and the questions and comments that came in was freaking awesome. Thank you so much. Quick shout out to everybody out there. Everybody go. Matter of fact, let me drop it one more time. That's my Discord, where you can find all of us and give us a talk. Even Deep Patel saying Loyalist, hop on Discord, darn it. But yeah, come join the Discord. But I got to get off here, find something to eat, and prepare for my other show because I've had a lot of work to do today. So thanks, guys. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen, and that's Colts Loyalist. And until next time, as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Those of you who want to talk smack about Matt Ryan, don't you realize, go look at what he's looked like when he's had a team. Just because last year he had an off year doesn't mean that he was, bad. He actually looked pretty good. The team around him let him down. Go check it out. I think Matt Ryan's going to make this team way, way, way better. Talk to you later, man. Have a good one.